If you want to get more done, there's nothing for you in the algorithm. I'm going to explain what I mean. Yesterday morning, a video came up from Struthless, I'm not sure. I'll link to his channel. I think his content is awesome. It's a great video. I'll give it kind of a super brief idea of what it was about in a second. But I love his delivery, his humor, his information. It's all awesome. I love his accent, right? It's great stuff. And he has a video that I've talked about before called the Stallion Harness. I'll link to that also in the description. Super powerful video, great little tool for kind of getting you focused on getting things done, particularly for the creative person. But yesterday I was watching this video, and the premise of the video is this: you were just a puppet. It kind of refers to us as a meat puppet, which we are. Our brain is just chemical interactions that cause our body to do the things we do. And he said, if you were just a puppet and your hand is normally in there controlling it, if you could hire a much more productive hand to get up in that puppet and move it around and get things done, what would you have that puppet, or what would you have that hand do? So if you could have somebody else controlling you, the most productive person in the world, what would that person do? And the thought experiment is basically to get you thinking about what are the things you actually should be doing to get more done. So for me, I'm trying to get more videos done. And I thought about this because I love his content, love his video, and there are a few other creators that I follow. But I thought about it and thought, nothing in this video is offering something new to me. And I'm not saying don't watch it. Once again, love his content. Did I need to hear that analogy? I don't really think I had to. The algorithm can be a very destructive force in getting the things done that you want to get done. It got me thinking about when I've been the most happy and most productive. Or better yet, if I really think about it, the most productive and most happy. And if I really break it down, it's the most productive and most content. Because maybe happy isn't the goal. Happiness is a fleeting emotion of the moment, where being content or fulfilled is a much more long-term and lasting effect, particularly when you're trying to get creative things done. In fact, I would say that being content or fulfilled is a byproduct of getting the least desirable, hardest things done. I'll give an example. I wrote these books. This was the first one I ever wrote. This was the next one. I'm super proud of these. I was ecstatic. I was super happy when I got signed to write those books. But I was fulfilled when I turned in the last edits to my editor and knew that they were getting published. And there's a big difference, because getting signed to a book is not writing a book. Writing one chapter is not writing a book. Writing a book is writing a book. That means completing the project. And that's when you're going to get the most pleasure. So completing a video, completing a song if you're a songwriter, completing an essay if you're a writer, completing a drawing. It's the completion of things that gives you the contentment or fulfillment. What are the 3 big challenges in reaching a level of contentment? The first is starting whatever your project is. And we'll talk about that a bit more. The second is continuing that, advancing it, staying focused on the work at hand. And the last thing is actually completing it. Now, I know that seems super obvious, and it is obvious. As a matter of fact, most things that we need to do are obvious. What are the barriers that stop us from doing that? Well, I'm speaking for myself, but I imagine a lot of you are the same. The first is seductive content. Content is hugely seductive. When I saw that Struthless video, Struthless, I should get his pronunciation correct, I was enticed to watch it. If I see a new Casey Neistat video, or my gosh, old Zay Frank videos, those have been coming up because I was showing somebody Zay Frank, and suddenly I'm seeing more of it, and there's never a time I want to pass on a Zay Frank video. And those videos give me pleasure. I might even learn something in them, but they give me pleasure, but they don't give me contentment. So pleasure can often be like fast food. Fast food is like McDonald's. Eating at McDonald's is like sleeping with a prostitute. You think it's going to be great, but when you finish, you just feel shame and you might get sick. By the way, that's not a comment about prostitution. That's a comment about McDonald's. But that's the first big barrier, is the seductive content. The algorithm's gonna give you things that either make you happy, make you outraged, but it knows what you want to watch. It's great at pulling you off course. And so that's the first big barrier. I know for me, it's my big barrier. I had to fight I started to watch 2 videos this morning when I knew I wanted to create this video. So that's how strong a pull it was. I knew what I wanted to do. I had said last night, don't watch videos, and then I saw something that seemed interesting about writing and Stephen King, something I talk about a lot. Then I saw another video that seemed interesting and started to watch it, and I thought, what are you doing? So you got to be careful about that seductive content. That is my biggest barrier. Another barrier is telling yourself you're doing your best. Now this came up a while ago. I wrote a post one time about being discontented with my productivity. I'm going to do another video about that because I'm currently in that state. I'm very dissatisfied with what I produced last year, and I'll discuss it in the video and why it's such a problem. But when I wrote this piece about being dissatisfied or annoyed with myself, which I'm annoyed at myself often, somebody said, "Oh, you're doing your best." And all I could think is that was one of the most insulting things I could ever hear. Now, it's only insulting because in my mind I know I'm not doing my best. Are you doing your best? Really? Are you doing the best you can? And what I thought is, this person must think I suck. If they think that's my best, they really have low standards for me. And so I want to have higher standards for myself. Don't tell yourself you're doing your best. I'm not one of those David Goggins hardcore, go 110% all the time. That's not what I'm advocating. But I'm saying, really, when you assess your productivity, when you assess what you're creating, are you doing your best? And if you are, that's fine, but you should be constantly working on improving. I know personally for me, I'm not doing my best. Not in creating content, not in creating music, not in the writing I want to do. So I want to improve that. I don't want to hear that I'm doing my best. Perfectionism, or even too good for the time allotted, is a huge barrier. If you've got 30 minutes or 1 hour to produce something, you need to create the best thing you can in that 30 minutes or that 1 hour. Or anything else that stops you from starting, interrupts you from continuing, or distracts you from completing your project. And these can be good things. It could be going to the gym, it could be spending time with family, it could be, whatever it is. There's lots of good things that can distract you or take you off course. Those are all barriers to the fulfillment of completing things. So what's the solution? Well, I'm going to say the first thing is turn off those distractions. Turn off your phone. This one's a killer. At least turn off the sound. Put it in do not disturb. Put it in airplane mode. Anything. If you're using it for notes or something, maybe you want it for notes, but don't have it around. My son's a big advocate for taking the phone and just sticking it in another room. Apparently, Stephen King has the same rule that nothing should be in your space that's going to be able to distract you. So turn off your fucking phone. Start fast. That's a big problem for me, meaning I'll get things set up and then I'll find 10 zillion other things to do in my office. I'll organize this, I'll set up the light that I have back there, I'll put the picture up that's up here, right? So I'll do stuff like that after I have everything ready to go because I'm like, oh, I gotta tweak this, I gotta tweak that. No, start fast, get going. Starting fast is gonna give you the greatest opportunity to get into a flow state. Set strict deadlines. Somebody I know who's a writer, and I was wondering where they'd been for a while, and I said, hey, are you gonna be doing any writing? And when she wrote her next piece, she responded well to that. She produced something right away. She said, I just need to put 30 minutes on the clock with no distractions and get things done. Sometimes having a tight deadline is far better than having, I can get this done whenever. Don't give yourself unlimited time. A time limit is not actually a constraint. It's a great barrier to force your creativity into a highly focused time frame so that you get things done. Keep rewards as rewards. Now this is a really important one. I don't think you should reward starting something. There's no reward in there. I don't think you should reward yourself for just continuing some little bit. Reward yourself based on completing big milestones. I'll give an example. I love ice cream, but I want to get in better shape. I want to have my weight where I want it to be. I want to be more fit. And I love ice cream. I could eat it every day. But ice cream is a reward at the end of the week if I've done enough of the things I need to do leading up to it. So it's a reward. It's not just something I deserve or should get without working for it. Make the rewards commensurate with what you're doing. So you can have small deadlines and milestones and give yourself a reward for those as long as they're somewhat substantial. and make it commensurate. So I can't have ice cream if I walked a mile one day. That hasn't earned me that. But if I've done it for 3 or 4 days, then maybe I've earned that reward. So the reward has to be commensurate with the work. I don't really have anything else to offer on this. As I said before, this is all obvious. You know it. I know it. It's just a matter of doing it. If you have any thoughts on this, or you struggle with getting started or continuing, let me know. Happy to respond. Maybe I'll do a video about those things. And thank you for tuning in.